There comes a time for each of us when we're waiting for the next huge game to finally come out. Summer is over and we just want something we can cling to. Something time-consuming, something addicting, something stimulating. And no, I haven't taken up cocaine. I'm talking about free MMOs. So for those of you that might need a little lesson in terminology, MMO is short for MMORPG, and MMORPG stands for Massively Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game. So you know, like World of Warcraft or Star Wars The Old Republic. And there are a lot of free MMOs out there, so it's hard to know which ones are worthwhile. Eden Eternal is a free MMO I played back when it was in beta, and just out of sheer curiosity and boredom, I decided to jump back in and see how it was doing. So the first thing you do, of course, is make a character. There are a few different races and classes, and a bit of cosmetic choices, but nothing too special. So you log into the game world, and the first thing you see is an intro cutscene setting up the game's story. Apparently all the bears and frogs and turtles decided to live in the same place for some reason, and then quickly started becoming racist, and before you knew it, people were ganging up on poor defenseless teen mothers. Wizard mice and bearded bears had to come together to face this turmoil, but it didn't seem to be enough. Until some glowy-ass humans started appearing, and the evil seemed to have met its match. It would be the destiny of these naked crystal babies to lead the people to Eden Eternal. And thus our game begins, where you play as one of these naked crystal babies. Except you have armor, and you're not a baby either. We'll be going on this adventure as my warrior, Niken. So it's a pretty standard start for an MMO. There are some NPCs nearby that'll give you your first quest, which involves some story loosely tied to the blue crystal you apparently hatched out of. Basically, it's, hey, go kill some mushrooms and I'll give you some free shit. And obviously, you want to do it. This game actually lets you auto-path to the quest location, which is kind of nice considering you probably weren't born and raised in this village and you don't know where the nearest swarm of killer mushrooms is. And if you were, you're probably a racist bear or something. This first little combat experience is where the game starts to grow on you. This game is very pleasing to the eye, assuming you're into that glowy anime style, and the combat is quite satisfying. Your moves are flashy and can be used pretty frequently. The fights are short and engaging, and it only takes a couple battles to get the hang of it. So you get sent off to do more quests, which are given to you by NPCs actually near the quest objective, and as you level, you're automatically given new abilities. Both these elements are nice because it keeps you in the action instead of sending you back to town every 5 minutes to turn in quests and learn skills. Of course, when I did run back to town was when I discovered you could double jump, and it totally freaking looks like the dash jumping from Mega Man X games where you have that cool trail of shadow U's behind you. So that's nice. Eventually I was given a dog as a quest reward. He picks up my items for me. I appreciate him. From there on out, it was quest, 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 quest. And it all went by really fast. There was legitimately no downtime. You're given enough potions for free that you can just fight endlessly, and that's nice because fighting is fun. What the? Ugh. This guy looks miserable. I better do something about him. Oh, a boss! Well, that's pretty cool. I actually get to do a longer, more strategic fight. And I even get an achievement for it. I was pretty happy when I figured out I could dual wield without any kind of training either. I just equipped a couple of one-handers and I was good to go. In fact, it was time to do my first dungeon. I think it's recommended that you do these with a partner, but I don't really like people, and I figure I'm awesome enough to handle it by myself. So apparently this cave was full of parasects, and something had to be done about it. It was pretty fun using my sweet new spin attack to fight a bunch of stuff at once. It actually got pretty out of hand at one point, but I pulled through. I don't know if this game is easy or if I'm just a badass, but it certainly felt good hacking my way through way more enemies than I thought I'd be able to. After slaughtering a legion of walking fungi, eventually I got to the boss of this place. A big-ass shroom named Mori Mori, who didn't put up much of a fight before dropping a sweet new sword for me. Mori's Gilded Toxic Root. Apparently this mushroom not only had roots, but its roots were made of swords. But hey, I got a weapon out of it, so I'm not complaining. I left that stank-ass cave and went back to town to learn about skill points and titles and all that good RPG stuff. Little did I know I was about to face the greatest struggle Eden Eternal had to offer. I discovered in my inventory a handful of different clothing dyes I had obtained as quest rewards, and I was overjoyed with the possibility of changing the color of my armor. But after some playing around, I realized the dye would select one of 4 colors randomly. I really just wanted to be red, but none of the dye packs even had red as an option, so I kinda left it up to fate. I was okay with the end result, but I decided I'd keep an eye out for more dyes in the future. And that's when I remembered. I could have sworn I ran by a dye merchant when I first logged in, and sure enough, there they were. And for 1 silver, I could buy all the dye I wanted. Needless to say, I went to town. But still no red, it would seem. I continued on my mission with a sleek black and tan outfit, but in the back of my mind, I knew the quest for the red dye was far from over. I made my way to the next town, which was actually in a pretty nice looking location. I knew the drill: pick up the quests, kill the monsters, get the spoils. Realizing just what a swirling bringer of death I was, it didn't take too long to murder most of the native fauna littering this ocean landscape. I got a little distracted when I caught sight of a rock that looked perfect to dive off of, but I guess force fields are a thing in this game, so my dreams were quickly crushed. Anyway, I turned in that batch of quests, got a sweet enchant for my green sword, and that's when I saw it. The next quest would reward me with a pack of dye, and one of the 4 possible colors was red. My quest was to murder a bunch of eagles and defeat their eggs. And once the human blender that was Niken had sufficiently ground enough of these birds to the brink of extinction, it was time to get my reward. It was now or never. There was only a 25% chance for my armor to dye red, but it was a chance I was willing to take. I found the configuration I thought was going to be the most badass looking, and with one decisive click, I was a bumblebee. I was frantic. I ran around town and found the dye vendor, but to my dismay, she only had the same shitty colors as the one before. I even checked the cash shop for red dye. Here I was, playing a game I had only invested a handful of hours into thus far, and I was already willing to drop real money just to be red. And if that was the case, this game must have been doing something right. But still, I didn't find anything. I didn't know what to do with myself. The rat merchant wasn't selling any dye, and this girl wasn't responding to any of my advances. So once again, I took to the coast and let my frustration out on the wildlife. I saw a boat in the distance and thought maybe I could sail away to a land where warriors in red aren't frowned upon, but the invisible force fields had other plans. It seemed my quest for the red dye had been prolonged indefinitely, and there was nothing left to do but log out, lay in bed, and try not to cry. And thus concluded my first adventure back into the world of Eden Eternal. I gotta say, all in all, it's a pretty fun game. The highlights for me, though, were definitely the combat and graphics. It's fast-paced, fun, and very shiny. If you're into MMOs, RPGs, or games with an anime feel to them, Eden Eternal just might be worth your while. I'll drop a link down in the description. Oh, and I finally got a P.O. box for those of you that have been wanting to send me something, so just check the About section of my channel page, and you'll see the address there. And make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, or I'll kill you. It's that simple.
Alright, let's try to use...
Dawn fan! Dawn fan!
Dawn fan me?
We doing with a Dawn fan, huh? 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 We doing with a Dawn fan, huh?
What?